Okay, today what I want to talk about is one of my favorite vegetables to cook. It's the stuffed artichoke. Now there's various things to talk about with artichokes. One is what I run across is a lot of stores don't carry artichokes, and when they do carry them, they're poor quality, or if they're decent quality, they're kind of expensive. The other day I went to a farmer's market and I found a batch of artichokes that they were selling for $2 each, which I thought that was a great deal, and they were huge. So I cooked them up and they came out great. Then I went back a few days later and found these artichokes. They didn't have very many left, so I got 4 of the better quality that they had, and just wanted to talk about what I look in an artichoke when I go to get one out of the store. You know, the quality of what I look for. And one of the things I like to find is when I grab it, to when you squeeze it, it feels like it's full. It gives a lot of resistance, and it's a good size as well. These here are not too bad, and that the leaves aren't discolored too bad, that they're really green as much as possible. These two here I picked up at the grocery store this morning, and as you can tell, they're starting to discolor, and I picked out the best one that they had here, which is, again, these were I think they were $2.50 each, so it weren't too bad a price. But here you have some resistance, not too bad, and it's a decent size, where this one here is one of the poorer qualities. I want to show you that it's small in size, looks like it's drying up, and then if you squeeze it, it just squeezes in. It doesn't give you any resistance. So this one here, there's a little labor intensive with stuffing artichokes, so that's why you want to get the best quality you can, because that way it's worth the work. But you see how that squeezes in, where these here, this one has more resistance, and then these here not only have good resistance, but they're also great size, and they don't have too much discoloring. Now the other ones I got the other day were just phenomenal. So now I'm going to talk to you about the process of prepping them to cook. So one of the things I do first, and I'll grab an artichoke here, get one of the good ones, is I cut off the stem and I make it flush with the bottom. So cut it, and then I kind of test it to see if it's flat. If it's not, I adjust it a little bit with a knife, and there you have it. So it's relatively flat. Then I'll cut approximately 1.5 inches off the top to make it nice and flat there. Then I'm going to wind up opening it up, because we're going to stuff it with a few different things, and we want the leaves to be out as far as possible so we have room to put our stuffing in. That's basically the start of preparing them. Again, we cut the bottom, make it nice and flat, cut about 1.5 inches off the top, and open them up. Now what I like to do with the scraps is I take them, put them in a container, because later I'll make vegetable stock out of them, and so it's just, this is waste, so it turns into broth. So you're utilizing 100% of the product at this point. Then what I'll do is I like to buy whole peeled garlic. Now when you go in the grocery store, you have, sometimes I'll have them in a little container. I don't buy the pre-cut minced, because that's just too strong. I like getting the peeled garlic because it's easy. You can get them in the bulbs, but I like the peel. It makes it just a lot easier, and I go through a lot of garlic. So now there's another one that they have in like a cryovac. I don't care for that. That seems a little strong. These I got at the Asian market, which I like. These in a container like this. They weren't too bad. These were $3.65 for this container, and then again, they're nice and fresh and good quality. So what I'll do is I'll take some garlic and slice it as thin as possible, but I want it whole. I don't want to mince it. I want nice big pieces of garlic, but they're going to be very thin, so that way they'll cook and soften up when I'm cooking the artichoke. What you want to do is chop enough. I like a lot of garlic, so I don't think I can eat too much garlic. I don't know how everyone is, but I definitely enjoy garlic. Now what I like to do is get some hard cheese. You can get Parmesan, you can get Pecorino Romano, Asiago, any hard cheese that you enjoy. This one here is a Parmesan cheese that I purchased at the store a while ago. So what I'm going to do is just slice it. Not really thin, but not thick either. Just like between probably about 1/8 to 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch thick. And then what I'll probably do is cut them in half so they're not so long. And this is just, I'm telling you, if you enjoy artichokes like I do, this is just going to be delicious. Okay, so what I just grabbed is some olive oil blend. It's got canola oil and olive oil. We have some salt and pepper. So now we're going to we have all our ingredients here, our cheese, and I also have some grated Parmesan cheese. I like most of the time I like using Pecorino Romano. It's creamy, but this one's pretty good too. It's a Parmesan grated. So what I'll do is I'll open it up and I'll start putting garlic in the leaves. And you just kind of put as little or as many as you like. I again like to put a lot because its original flavor without any seasoning is rather bitter. So the more you can put in this, the better the artichoke will shine. And it's kind of fun to eat. It's not very filling at all. It's more of an appetizer. But I got the kids hooked on it. This is just a fun treat. Again, now here I just put a bunch of garlic. That's probably 2 cloves of garlic in one artichoke. And again, these artichokes are nice and big, but you want it good size. So here's cheese, some sliced cheese that I just cut up. I'm gonna put in there. What's gonna happen is when we go to steam it, it's just gonna melt in there and stick to the leaves, and it's just gonna have such a great flavor. Just get so excited making these. So again, I make sure I keep it open, and I put as much cheese and much garlic as I could fit in there. Now what I'll do is I'll take some black pepper and start pouring it in there. Kind of, you want to put a good amount if you like pepper, because again, the artichoke by itself doesn't have a lot of flavor, so we're going to induce a lot of flavor to it. Here we have some salt. This is to taste. Go as little or as much as you like, but again, the artichoke is bitter, so you kind of want about 4 pinches of salt in there. Now what I'll do is I'll pour a little bit of the olive oil blend just to give it more flavor, and then I'll top it with some Parmesan cheese, grated, and that will fall into the leaves as well. Some, but then some will have a nice coating on top. So I'll put that aside for right now, and then I'll stuff another one. Now there's 2 ways of well, probably more than 2 ways obviously, but the 2 ways that I've cooked these is one on the stovetop in a pot of broth, vegetable broth I'll use, that I've created off of excess vegetable trimmings. If you're going to boil it on the stovetop, you want to put the liquid to about halfway up the side of the artichoke, and once it starts to boil, you're going to boil it on a low to medium simmer, and then you need to have hot vegetable stock on the side, because as it evaporates, then you're going to add hot vegetable stock to the pot as these are simmering without pouring it on top of the artichoke and without the stock that you have cooling down. Okay, so again, I just put the garlic in. Now I'm throwing some cheese in there, Parmesan cheese. This might see a lengthy process, but it's once it's done, it's delicious. It's really good appetizer. Good for you. Now again, the artichokes are different sizes, so I like to purchase them when they're a decent price on sale, when they're maybe in season for the area, and then also I don't want them to be too small. You want a nice size artichoke, so it's worth eating. Now, how do you know if you bought the right hard cheese? Is that if you can't stop tasting it, then you know you bought the right cheese. Just keep cutting, because we have a lot of artichokes and stuff. The advantage of the Instant Pot is once you put them in there, you don't have to add more vegetable stock. It'll just seal it up and it won't evaporate. Alright, now we're going to take this to the pot and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so now here I have an Instant Pot, and I'll place them in the Instant Pot, and the vegetable broth is about 1/3 of the way up. I put 2 quarts of vegetable stock in. So I got them positioned. I can't fit 3 because it just wouldn't have enough room, but 2 is touching nice and snug, so they'll be just fine. Okay, so now I have them in there. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to set the steam button. Make sure it's on high pressure, and I'm going to cook it for 20 minutes. Once that they're done, I'm going to let it sit in there for about 5 minutes to depress. Okay, there you have our stuffed artichoke. And now for the moment that you've been waiting for. The best part is, of course, eating the artichoke. So here you take the leaves off, scrape that part right off with your bottom of the teeth. Some people would say use the top, but I like using the bottom. And that's just full of flavor. And then you have melted Parmesan cheese. That's so delicious. It's not how complicated things are, it's how simple, but how much care you take in making them. There you have it. Stuffed artichokes. Enjoy.